Hello, dear children of class 4, and welcome back to another online class of science. Now, dear children, today the part which I am going to teach you, with that particular part, we will be reaching the end of our science chapter 1. The part which we are going to cover today is avoiding wastage of food. Now, dear children, when it comes to food, one thing that we must understand, we must always remember, is that food is very, very necessary for our survival. The very reason we are alive is that we eat food. So, I don't have to tell you after this how important food is for us. So, also because of that very reason, it becomes more and more necessary to avoid wastage of food. Children, every time you waste food, you take food and you don't eat it and it ends up in a drain, you are actually committing a sin. Because look at this, you have food in your plate and you are throwing it away, and there are many children like you who don't have even a proper morsel of bread to eat. At this particular moment, the period of lockdown, many families whose parents are wage earning laborers, they don't have proper food to eat. And you who have been blessed with food on your plate, you will waste it away. Where is the logic in that? So, dear children, food should not be wastage. Every time you save food, every time you avoid wastage of food, you can use that food to feed somebody less fortunate than you. Imagine the food that is prevented from being wasted. It can be used to feed millions and millions of hungry people all around the world. No one ever has to go to sleep hungry. No one has to die because of hunger. So, in order to prevent the wastage of food, there are some techniques, some steps, some methods which you must always remember. Okay, so we'll be continuing with that. I have already noted it on the marker board. We'll read about it one by one. Number one, take small servings of food. Take only how much you intend to eat. You take a plate, you put 10 items in it, you eat only 2 items. What about the rest of the 8? Who is going to eat that? So, dear children, please remember, take small servings of food which you can finish quickly in a short amount of time. This way, you will save your time also, and you will be avoiding wastage of food. Take only how much you intend to eat. Second one, avoid cooking large quantity of food. This particularly goes for parents. Okay, please tell your parents not to cook large quantity of food. They should cook only as per the needs of the family. Also, my dear children, in most of the homes, what happens, children put unnecessary demand on their mothers. Mother, cook this, mother, cook that. And once mother has cooked, they will take a little, and what they will say, I don't want to eat more. That's tantamount to wastage of food, dear children. So we must avoid cooking large quantity of food, and we should only cook as per the need and requirement of the family. Also, small children, don't put unnecessary pressure on your mothers to cook this and cook that. Yes, sometimes you can cook a snack. Okay, you can tell your mother, you can ask your mother, and she will help you in cooking up a small snack which you can enjoy. But don't make her cook something in large quantity and then say no to eating it, because that way you will be wasting food. Third method you can do is store cooked food in refrigerator. Sometimes due to some reason, food does not finishes up. Maybe your mother has cooked lunch and due to some reason you are not able to take lunch, or maybe after dinner some food is left. What can be done with that food? That food can be put in refrigerator at low temperatures. At low temperature, the food doesn't spoil quickly. You can use that food again tomorrow, right? Also, especially my dear children, fruits and vegetables should be preferably, I'm telling you, fruits and vegetables should be preferably put or kept in the refrigerator only. This way they don't get spoiled, especially during summer season. All right, next one, avoid exposure of cut fruits and vegetables to air for a long time. Okay children, I forgot to add a point here. Obviously all of the families don't have refrigerator. Even if you don't have a refrigerator, there are ways, there are traditional methods of keeping the food well covered. All right, keeping the food in such a proper way in a utensil, they can last for a day or two. So such methods, your parents and the elders of the house, they already know it. If there is no refrigerator at home, they can use that technique and preserve food, fruits and vegetables. Now let's move on to the next point which I was reading. Avoid exposure of cut fruits and vegetable to air for a long time. Children, most of the time people chop fruits, chop vegetables and leave them in open. Not only that, invite disease causing germs and what you call, makes a person ill, but also my dear children, by being contact in with air, the moisture gets soaked up, the dust and germs of the air settle on the cut fruits and vegetables and they get spoiled very quickly. So all what we need to do is, first of all, we should avoid over chopping. What is over chopping? Sometimes what happens, parents, especially mothers, in order to save time, during lunch hour only, what they will do, they'll cut and make vegetables ready for dinner, right? They will cut the vegetables and keep it ready for cooking during dinner time. This kind of thing should be avoided. As soon as you cut a fruit or vegetable, use it up. Secondly, if due to any reason you have to cut, keep what you call, keep cut fruits and vegetables, it must be kept well covered. It must be kept well covered. Once it is well covered, dear children, the moisture won't set in, the germs and disease causing viruses, dust won't settle on it and it won't spoil quickly. Next one, the fifth one, parents should teach children not to waste food. Children, it is our duty, like I am teaching you all, it is the duty of us elders to teach you not to waste food. Remember, take only so much what you can finish. Eat only as much as you can finish. Never take more and waste food. Now these are the few techniques of preventing wastage of food. Now children, there is one more point when it comes to wastage of food. Sometimes fruits, vegetables are not kept properly, are not kept properly. So what happens, over the time they spoil up. Once spoiled, there is no option but to throw them away. That is also a wastage of food. So there are some techniques, there are some methods which can be used to prevent such wastage, such wastage. It is called food preservation techniques. Food preservation techniques. Now in the continuance we will be going through food preservation techniques. Food preservation techniques. Okay, number one, pickling. Number one is pickling Number 2, drying. Number 3, refrigeration. And number 4, deep freezing. Okay, these are 4 methods through which fruits and vegetables, especially vegetables, can be preserved for very long time. The first method is pickling. In this method, the chopped vegetables or chopped item is mixed with a large quantity of salt and oil. Salt and oil prevents the onset of bacteria and preserves the food item for very long time. Okay, such preserved items are also known as pickles. For example, right now it's mango season. You know, your parents are preparing mango pickle at home, plus many other like garlic, like jackfruit, raw jackfruit. They all are preserved through the method of pickling. Next, drying. Drying is very simple. Chopped vegetables are dried out in sun and stored in airtight containers. Alright, stored in airtight containers. Once they are set up in airtight containers, same like pickling, no bacteria sets in, no moisture sets in, they don't spoil. Like chilies, one way of preserving chilies is to dry them up in sun. Third one, refrigeration. Like we learned that time in avoiding wastage of food, one of the very basic techniques of preventing the wastage and spoilage of food is to keep the fruits and vegetables, especially raw fruits and vegetables, in refrigerator at low temperature. At low temperature. That way what happens? In low temperatures, the bacteria cannot grow, all the moisture freezes up and food doesn't get spoiled. That's one reason food kept in refrigerators last for long time. Now the last method through which food can be preserved is deep freezing. You might think refrigeration and deep freezing are same. They are same in the way that food is kept in low temperature, but the difference is in deep freezing it is kept at much lower temperature. You might have seen fishes are preserved by putting them in deep freezers, large container like a fridge, in which what you call our food items like fishes or meat are kept, and they are preserved at very low temperatures. Same like refrigeration, the moisture freezes up, bacteria cannot grow in it, and food stays good and healthy for long time. So once again I am telling you food preservation techniques: pickling, that is making pickle by mixing it with oil and salt. You have drying, chopping them up, drying them out in sun and keeping them in airtight containers. After that we have refrigeration, keeping fruits and vegetables, preferably raw fruits and vegetables, in refrigerator where they are preserved at low temperatures. And in deep freezing, they are kept in deep freezers at sub-zero temperatures, very low temperature, much what you call very low temperatures, where in very cold environment where they are preserved properly, where they are kept properly, where they are preserved properly. Now children, following all these techniques, we can avoid wastage of food and we can ensure that the fruits and vegetables that we have is not wasted, not spoiled. It stays good for long time. Especially with the onset of summer and increase in temperature, it's more than important right now to follow food preservation techniques so that food, fruits, vegetable, whatever we are taking does not get wasted. Now children, with this particular theme, I end my lesson here. The lesson 1 is completed. And as far as your homework goes, dear children, on page on page 22 and 23. I am telling you again, page 22 and 23, there is exercise A, B and C. These three exercises are your homework. Okay, A, B and C. We will continue with the remaining exercises in the next video that follows. Now right now, before I end this, dear children, last time I gave you homework on page 19, that is questions, right? So today I'll be giving you the answers to this question, the reference answer to these questions. You can look at these answers and you can match it up with your answer and make sure that your work is complete. Okay, your question number A was give two examples for the following. So we'll be giving two examples here. Number one, essential substance that food contains. Carbohydrate and proteins. Then you have number two, main types of carbohydrates: sugar and starch. Number three, bodybuilding food: meat, eggs. Number four, main nutrients in protective food: vitamins and minerals. Okay, so these are your answers for question A. Number one, essential substance that food contains: carbohydrates and proteins. Number two, main types of carbohydrate: sugar and starch. Number three, bodybuilding food: meat and eggs. And number four, main nutrients in protective food: vitamins and minerals. Now let's continue with number B. Okay. Number one, young children. Now number B is fill in the blanks. So let's read the question here. Number one, young children should include more protein rich food. Protein rich food. Number two, fats provide more energy than carbohydrates. Number three, dash is needed for formation of bones and teeth: calcium. Number four, dash is essential part of blood and other bodily fluids: iron. And number five, iron is needed for formation of blood. Sorry children, number four, please run the correction. It is not iron, it is water. Because the question talks not only about blood but about other bodily fluids too. So in other bodily fluids, the most important component out there is water. So your answers for number B are: number one, protein rich; number two, carbohydrates; number three, calcium; number four, water; and number five, blood. So please remember, these are the reference answers for questions on page 19. Make sure your answers are up to mark with this. If not, please make necessary correction and don't forget to solve exercise A, B and C on page 22 and 23. 3. I will be providing you the pick of the questions for your help. Thank you very much. Stay safe.